Hi, this is Pod. So, so far we have learned about the basic user interface of Adobe Director, and also we can create a simple button and animation. So, on this script here, we're going to create an animate button. So right now, what I'm doing, right, I search for like Tino, the animate GIF, and then I download it. So after you download, right, you're going to open it up in Photoshop, and you will delete a few layer. So only layer I have left is layer 1, layer 5, layer 8, and layer 13. So what you have on that, so you have a sequence of the animation like that. So what we're going to do in Photoshop right now, as you see here, we have a solid white space here. So what I like to show you, I'm going to create a background transparency from GIF image. So after you download this file, right, the tino.gif from the website, after that, right, I'm using magic wand. Okay, let's define the magic wand. Right, and select on the white background. So when you select on the white background, right, I will have to zoom in a bit and select on that particular, hold down my shift key and add additional whites. So I select on the background and also on this between his arm right there. And then what I'm going to do, right, I go to selection and inverse selection, or control shift I. And then I doing go image, go to layer, new layer, via copy. So basically, whatever I select, I make a copy of that particular layer on that. So now what I got, right, I got that, animation without the white background on that. So now the layer 1 is done. So I'm going to remove the layer 1, trash it, yes. And then now I'm going to select the layer 5, doing the same process. So use magic wand to select that, and then go to inverse selection, and then you can do by go to layer, new layer, via copy or control J. Right, and then I'm going to remove that layer. So now I got these two layers line up. Okay, so now I'm going to do layer 8. Yes, doing the same thing. Select that. So on this particular one, I have to zoom in a bit. So to hold down my shift key and select on that white spot. Okay. Right, okay, and then control shift I, so inverse selection, and then control J to make a duplicate version of that without the background. Okay, and one more layer, so number 13. All right, using a magic wand, select the background and control shift I and control J. Right, now, okay, delete that layer. So now I have 4 layers. So what my plan is, I'm going to export each image, each image. So if I hold down my Alt key, right, so I can jump to different layer and see how it's going to look, when I animate this together. Okay, now the idea is all the elements of your animation, right, must be on the same pixel dimension So when you look at it, right, look at your canvas to be sure everything is right on the same. So right now your canvas size, the canvas size of this particular icon is about 400 something. So all right, so I'm just leave it like that. So for demonstration, it's quite big, but it's okay. Okay, now I'm going to export this by going to Save As, and then I'm going to use Tino as a name, right? And then I'm going to call Tino underscore 01. Okay, Tino underscore 01 then, and then I save on my Animate button projects. Okay, just leave it like that and save as a PNG file and include ICC color performance. No, okay, right. Okay, let's see, save. Okay, I use the smallest file size, slower saving. Okay, and then number 2, yeah, and go to file and save as PNG file. The file name is really important, you know, so I just running from file number Tino underscore 01, and this one is 02, and then the next one will be 03, you will see how this thing works when I import it into Director. You know, it will make your life much easier to organize the file in order, and you know, by using the name as a process. Okay, save as PNG. So I have Tino underscore 01, 02, 03, and 04. Right? So this means my animation will have 3-step animation. Okay, and one thing that I need to be remember carefully, because the pixel dimension size, so in this particular one, right, is 416 pixel, right? 416 by 416. So now I go to Director file, and then I change this canvas size to 416, and 416. Okay, so that is same canvas size, and now I'm going to import the file over. So I'm going to save as this one. So I'm going to name this file as okay, let's import first. Okay, I got all the Tino 01 to 04. Hold down my shift key and add. So I using standard import. In Director here, you will allow to use by link to external file. In this case here, link to external file is Director will not save all the import file within the Director file itself. So it's just link. So the downside of that, if you change the name, you know, so Director will not be able to find your file anymore. So that is downside. But this will allow user to replace, you know, in the future, if you have animation and you want to keep update without touching Director at all, you just replace the name with the same name, you know, replace the image with the same name. And then another 2 option is include original data for editing and import as a PIT file. So that's an old-fashioned Macintosh file. Right, okay, so now we choose the standard import, then I click import, and then when you click import, right, you're going to import as image as 32-bit right? Because you want the background to be transparent. And then uncheck trim white space because we don't want the software to trim the white space on that. And also I want to check on the same setting for remaining image because I import 4 images. I don't want them to keep asking me 4 times, so I click OK. So now I have 1, 2, 3 and 4 image on. So you can drag, okay, you can drag it either right on the center of your screen right here. You know, you can position it the way you like, or you can drag it right to the score. The difference is when you drag to right into the score, right, you automatically center to the canvas. But if you drag it to the state, you have to position it. So in this case here, you have to eyeball it, which is not so good idea to do that, unless you want to put into the particular position, something like that. Okay, so in this case here, I can, you know, drag it onto that. So you can see if I just drag onto that, right, the image popping, right, is going to be like about 30 frame each, and then I have to drop 1 by 1 onto that score. And then if I rewind and play, right, so it's going to see, you know, 1 second each animation, something like that. So this is not what I want, right? I want this a bit, you know, more realistic movement. So let me select this, select all, and then delete. Okay, so now instead of drop in 1 by 1, right, I hold down my shift key on the cast and then press alt key on Windows or option key on Macintosh, and then drag it to the score. Okay, so now right now you have 4 frames, right? Each image have only 1 frame, so you can rewind and see. Okay, so this, you see this animation movement, it's jumping very quickly. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to click on the last frame and then drag it to 30 frames. So that means it's going to do it 4 frames in 1 second. So now you can see this animation is look more realistically. So now I can see this as the first animation. So what I like to do now, I save this file, go to file, save as, and I'm going to name it as a T-ball. Okay, Tino. Okay, let's do it all lowercase, T-E-N-O-R. And on this particular one, you're going to save as director file. So I'm going to name this as dir. So I will know this is director file, and then slash with follow with which state that I want to use, right? In general, for button, you probably will need about 3 states. The normal state, which is going to show user, you know, while you're not doing anything. And the second state is when you roll over. And the last state is when you click your mouse or when you release your mouse. So I'm going to name this Tino underscore director, dir, and then underscore normal, okay, normal, as a normal stage. And then I'm going to save this as a director file, or we call director movie. All right. And now you can see this animation running about 1 second, something like that. And now what I like to do, right, for something that is quite when I roll over it, I want this guy to run or dancing faster. So I'm going to reduce the time from 30 frame to 15 frame. Now you can see what happened. So the animation is seem like, you know, it's going twice as fast. Okay, now I'm going to name save file, save as, and now I'm going to rename is Tino underscore dir and underscore this one as a roll over. Okay, so that's mean I'm going to use this when I roll over it. Okay, and now the last one, right? If I want to click on it, so I want this to go extremely fast. So now I reduce to 5 frame, and now you see, so when I click on it, you can see this guy jumping. Okay, so now I'm going to stop that and save as. Go to Tino underscore dir and underscore hit. So this is when my mouse up or when my mouse down. Okay, hit. So I just say hit on that. Okay, so now I have 3 different file name, right, in different speed. All right, now I'm going to create a canvas size, which is a normal size. Okay, let's create new canvas and showing at 800 by 600. All right, and then I can reduce this a bit to make it smaller. You know, this one is affect only your view. And then maybe I'm going to okay, put the color of the score. Okay, so now I'm going to import, right? You can import by Control R, or you can click the import icon which is right there. Okay, so now in this case here, I'm going to import all 3 states of Tino, right, by hold down my shift key on the keyboard and then hit import, right? So when I import to this, right, what you're going to see, you're going to see the director file, you know, and also you're going to see the file within that particular director file. So we have 3 different states. So I'm going to just drag the director file itself to the state. So in this particular one, right, I do not want to make it right on the center. So maybe I just want to maybe put it right here, you know, put it right there. And then it's a bit big, but it's okay. Yeah. So now I like to define as a button. So in this particular case, we have 3 different states of button. So I like to show you the one is called control, and you choose the one called push button. Okay, so in this case here, you drag push button behavior and drop onto this icon, and then it will default as the current name. So on the graphics standard member, so this is the Tino dir normal. And the second one, when you roll over member, you want to change it to roll over, Tino dir roll over. And then when you mouse down, right, and you can go to Tino dir hit, right. And then on disable member, we haven't choose anything, and the rest of that we just leave it for now. So we hit OK. And another behavior that I like to do it is called animation interactive group, and then you scroll down, go to something called roll over cursor chain. So this will allow your cursor to chain to, you know, something you like. In this case here, I like this as a button, so I change it to finger. And now I rewind and play. So you can see this animation is looping. Okay, It's looping, but also it's running all the way. Okay, so what I want right now, right? I want them to stay on certain frame. So in this case here, I like them to stay right on frame 30. So I double click on the lingo window, and it say on exit frame me go. So I say on exit frame me go the frame, and then hit enter. So this means if I start from the beginning and press play, it's going to stop right on frame 20, which is have a script say on exit frame go the frame. But when you take a look on this, right, you will see the animation loop is still going on even though the frame doesn't move anywhere. So this is the benefit of movie in movie technique. So you can create a very sophisticated animation on the certain spot you like, and then now when you load over this object, you see the animation is running faster, and then when you click on it, it's jump, it's just like go crazy. All right, so now when I move my mouse away, so it's going to be something like that. And now if I like to add maybe different point on my screen, okay, let me stop this and let me move my sprite number 1 to channel number 5. So this way, right, I will be allowed to add something on the background. So what I like to add on the background, maybe I like to add boxes on here to to create a background. Okay, so I like to create a box on there, and I change the color of the box into maybe, okay, so now you can see that, okay, nicely. And then okay, I try to position it, make it fit. And then what I like to do, right, when I click on it, I want this animation to maybe to go somewhere else. Okay, let's see. Okay, at the beginning it start right there. And then when I click on it, I want this guy to run, maybe run and stop somewhere else. Okay, let's see. I'm going to create another group of animation by select this and hold down my shift key, Control C to copy, or I can go to edit and copy sprite, and then go to frame 40, and then go to edit and press sprite. So now you can see I have these two sprite, right? On this particular one, right, if I click my mouse and I want this guy, okay, I want this guy, yeah, this guy to run away, okay, okay, let's run away to the end. Okay, let's try, let's come to this frame here, and let's see, I can even add my keyframe. So if I want him to run quickly, so maybe about that's it. So drag it away. So now he running away from the scene. All right. And now when I click on it, so if I want to define, so I can define that as run. Okay. So I can say run. Add the new marker, and I change the name marker to run, RUN. Doesn't really matter if you want to do like uppercase, lowercase, or small case. So in this case, I just use lowercase to keep it consistent. And now I have to define these objects, right? I would need to define this object, okay, as a button. So I have push, I have roll over, and then I have to add additional behavior to that. So this behavior is new behavior, and I say go to run. Okay, go to run, because it's going to go to run marker, right? And then you select that name, and then you click on the script, and then you type on mouse up, right? And then go, put the code on and say run, put the code back, and then end, and then enter. Okay, now let's test it. So if I rewind and play, right? So now it's waiting for my command, and then when I roll over, this guy is jumping, and when I click on it, it's choking, running fast. And when I release my mouse, look at the current time indicator, it jumped to run. Okay, now is he running away like that, okay, look good. So this means if you have two buttons, you can go to jump into different places, something like that. So here is that the basic idea of animated button.